I want to do a quick update on this range we've been trading in because there's some interesting price action that's going on right here. It is currently Saturday, so there's very little volume. Okay, here we can see in the CVDs, in this little pocket of volume here, you had spot consistently selling here. But then once we hit this low here, you can see there's a change in character and futures starts bidding the market up. And you can see there's a pretty extreme divergence from spot and futures. Now, I have a theory that this price action is artificial demand, okay? What I think is that there's not actually organic demand going on here. I think futures is bidding up the market instead and moving the market to points of liquidity in order to incentivize people to long the market falsely. And that is going to be used as fuel to actually send the market down and run the lows here. What's interesting here is here, I'm just going to put on, here, let me delete some of this stuff here. Okay, I'm going to put on a channel from right here to this low right here. And as you can see here, at the bottom of this range, we are in a market discount, right? And then right here, this is when futures starts to bid up the price. Looking at a smaller time frame, the 15-second time frame, we can see a little bit more of what happened here. As price came down here, you can see futures is selling aggressively into this down, into this low. And then here we get a little bit of sustained buying. It looks like primarily futures is selling, but then here we get a little bit of an uptick in volume and futures starts to bid it up. Okay, you can see these little interjections of volume, but this sort of volume looks very sparse compared to other volume I've seen in the past. Okay, looking at the spot market, because to me spot represents organic demand. Okay, and you can see spot Binance USDT is like selling into here aggressively, but look, there's not that much volume coming in here. Okay, you had a little bit of coordinated buying right here, but nothing substantial. Looking at the 1 minute chart, spot delta, you can see selling and futures selling into the low, coordinated buying right here, and we do get a little bit of buying right here. But if we go down to the smaller time frame on the 15-second charts, you can kind of see in a bit more granularity what is going on here. Okay, now what's interesting to me is there's another change in character in the CVDs once we actually get this event right here. So that would be this right here. Okay, so what we see here is once we actually move into a premium, so once the market moves into a premium in this range, you can see spot actually starts bidding right here. Okay, bidding is slightly going up, increasing over time, right? And if I exclude Binance, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, you can really see that all the other markets are starting to bid up, right? And we start to flatten out here. So my theory is that there is no actual demand coming in right here. Okay, what was happening here is instead you had futures bidding up the market, right, creating an artificial demand in order to move the market into a premium right here. Okay, because once you move into a premium in this range, you probably have naive traders who are thinking that this is going to be a breakout of some sort and we're going to move to this next area of supply. You also probably have a triggering of algorithms that start to accumulate in here, right? Which is why I think in the spot market you started to see some actual buying. Okay, let's go on a smaller time frame and see what this range was looking like. Okay, so here, this is in the perp market. You can see that buying taking place right here, right? Buying up into resistance here, some selling, a lot of buying right here, right? And then you had a UTAD event right here with some coordinated buying. So that was this wick right here. Now I think this is actually that is the UTAD, and this is actually the start of the downtrend. Okay, so I do think this is going to be the start of the downtrend, which will send us below this low, because this entire demand, this is artificial demand here. This is like fake demand for here. So what's actually happening here, like I mentioned, is you had futures bid up the market in order to move the market into an area premium to trap in longs who think we are going to break out, going to this area of supply. But actually what's happening is it's a trap. It's literally just a trap. I think that this was the last point. I think this is the start of the downtrend, okay? And upon seeing that, I actually did get a short position, right? So the way I got my short position is I took this range, right? Because we made a low here, and I wanted to get a short at premium. So once the market moved into a premium, I got into a short about right here, right? And set my stop loss above the high. You can see that right here, okay? Could have been a little bit more precise, but I am happy with that position, and I am holding that all the way down to the lows here. Okay. So what's interesting to me is in the spot market. So once we actually moved into a premium in this range with this change in character, we can see in the spot market, we actually had demand come in, okay? From Binance, but we had a little bit sparse buying from OKX, Kraken, but not very much overall. Okay, a little bit of buying from Kraken here, but look, this does not look at how sparse the volume is. The volume is extremely sparse here. The only real demand we have is coming from Binance USDT. Also on this move up, you don't really have very much demand too. You do have some demand from OKX coming in a little bit out, but there's also a lot of selling going on here too. But primarily I look at Coinbase to see what Coinbase is doing. Nothing really going on there. Okay, if I move up here, let's change this to a 15-second chart. Spot is primarily selling. Okay, you do have a bit of OKX buying this up. Okay, right? But once we have this break right here, which coincides, which is this right here, you had to break in the range, and the market moved into a premium within this range. That's when you start seeing, okay, you see a little bit more Coinbase buying. Okay, Kraken is buying a little bit here, but you really see Coinbase start to buy here and Kraken start to buy in this zone right here. Okay, Coinbase starts selling. What's also interesting is you can see Binance USDT is actually selling until the UT event right here. Okay, once that UT happens, Binance starts buying up, right? Which is very interesting to me because futures is predominantly leading the market up here until you get to this distribution event right here. Okay, you can see futures goes flat. You have a little bit of an uptick on this UT, and then futures starts declining, right? That's very interesting to me. Futures starts declining while Binance starts buying up, right? So that is very interesting to me. I don't know what is going on. I don't know exactly what to make of this, but as you can see, it's tapered off right here. It's just interesting to me about how after this UT right here, you have a fundamental change in the market when Binance spot starts bidding the market up here, right? So what's going on? I don't know. I think futures is able to step up the market. Okay, futures or spot can step up the market into places of liquidity to elicit a reaction from the market, which has happened right here. Okay, because I think if you have the ability to step up the market, you can move the market to a point of liquidity where you can gauge interest and see if people are willing to bid here. And I think that's exactly what happened right here. Okay, so because this is artificial demand, I actually think that the market is going to come back down and test to see if this demand is actually here. Okay, I actually don't think there was very much bidding going on right here. I think this is a campaign of some sort, right? Furthermore, I think that's the same thing that happened over here in this ascending triangle, because when I was watching the volume here, I was really perplexed because there was not very much volume here at the range. Okay, and it was primarily futures that was bidding up the market. Okay, let me pull that up here. Okay, here we are in this ascending triangle. As you can see, spot is selling, right, while futures is bidding up the market. And then around this area right here, you can see there's a change in character. Around this area right here, there's a change in character when spot actually starts buying. But if we exclude Binance, let's see. Okay, yeah. These markets start buying up, right? So what's interesting to me is I think the theory that I have currently is that futures is able to move the market. Spot can move the market. Binance can essentially move the market because they're so liquidity, and they probably got algorithms that can kind of chart and create fake demand. So I think you have a scenario of futures can move the market to areas of interest to gauge interest, right? And because this PA is essentially manipulated, right? And everything from here tends to be organic. See, this is the point in which organic interest entered into the market, and you can see that in the spot. Starts going up, and through that organic interest, Binance was able to move the market to an area of more liquidity. Okay, but because there was actually no legitimate interest right here, the market needs to come back down to test this area, right? Or it can also tell you that because there was no legitimate buying interest right here, when the market does come back down to this area, it's very likely that this low will be taken out. And that's kind of what happened right here. You know, you had this event right here, this liquidation event here. Market kind of ran up, and then I think you had some news event that came in from BlackRock that caused the market to tank and take out that low. Anyways, I think that's the same thing that's happening here, but just on a smaller magnitude. I'd be interested to see if we can actually clear this high, right? Because I do think this demand is artificial. I'm pretty set stone in that, but what I'm trying to figure out is how to determine when the campaign is over. So basically, I think it's a campaign of Binance or whatever, the Binance quants are basically probing the market, coercing the market to areas of liquidity in order to run liquidity, you know, because there's people that probably shorted throughout here, right? People that shorted throughout here. And I'm trying to understand how to determine when that campaign is over. And maybe the way to determine when that campaign is over is you look at, first you look at futures, okay? Futures stopped bidding here, right? And then it's interesting to me how that coincided with Binance USDT starting to bid up, right? So I'm not sure what's going on there, right? Also, it's very interesting to see that Coinbase is getting very interested at this level, right? See, this is what I mean, is that if there's no demand here, but you have the ability to chart up the market to an area where people are actually interested, right? People are actually getting bullish at this level without understanding that this is actually fake demand, okay? And once people start getting bullish, then the market kind of just takes on a mind of its own, right? And you actually, that's when you get those exaggerated moves to the upside, right? Which was probably the intent of the Binance quants in this area. They probably see, hey, there's a lot of liquidity up here. Okay, we got lots of people that are short right here. How can we liquidate these people? Okay, well, let's start stepping up the market, okay, until we move into an area, into a premium, right? Market is in a premium within this range right here. And let's see what the interest is. Do people start getting bullish here? Like, will we actually get some organic demand stepping into the market? And that's exactly what you see here. You see organic demand stepping in as soon as we break into a premium in this range. Okay. Now we're getting a little bit from Coinbase, but we'll see. At some point, I think we come back down and we take this low. I'm pretty set on that. That's why I took a short right here. But I'm interested to see how high this can actually go. Do we end up taking this high out? Because as soon as people start bidding, as soon as spot starts bidding, then that's when you can have those liquidation events, right? Where you're able to have distribution events up here, right? And I think once that happens, because this demand is fake, that is when spot can actually, or that's when futures, the Binance quants can actually send the market down to an actual area of real demand, which is probably down here, right? Because right here, I don't think there's actually organic demand. This is all futures bidding up this shit, right? So I don't know, kind of rambling, but that's kind of just my thoughts right now. Okay, here's a quick update on how it ended up playing out. As I said before, I believe that this was the start of the downtrend, and that's actually what ended up happening here. That indeed was the start of the downtrend, and we ended up taking out this low with this liquidation event here. We actually came down and retested the supply that was over here. So the idea did play out correctly. Unfortunately, I did not execute properly because I got scared when this wick happened and we started closing up above here. I thought that we were going to break out of here, so I ended up closing my position at break even right here, which is not the best thing, but it's all a learning experience. I should have just stuck to my original plan and saw it through, because that would have been a really nice trade. Anyways, so that's the end of this video. In the next video, I'll start to talk some more about this price action that's been happening. All right, peace out.